this thing on?
A lot of electricity.
A lot of power, though.
No.
I mean, talking about the lights.
Oh, yeah, it is hot in here. I'm also sweaty. Where'd you get that hat? What is it? Huh? Oh, it's like your dog. That's cute.
So you got your dog on the hat.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool, though. Still.
So did she send in a picture?
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, okay. Would that weird you out? Yes. Oh, okay, yeah. That guy's making a killing.
Wait, who's it? Michael Rubin now?
Yes. Good.
He owns everything.
Yeah, he made so. Like, I thought that. I mean, egg on my face. I thought that was the dumbest idea. I was like, who? I guess there's a lot of money in like jersey sales and stuff like that.
People. Bro, you've seen how many people at LSU games wear jerseys.
Yeah, but you start off in basketball, and I was like, who wears?
People buy basketball jerseys.
But, like, I'm thinking about the Caucasian culture, where it's a bunch of like fat white arms hanging out, and they don't care.
Well, they'll wear like you gotta throw the sleeves under.
Well, now we're not wearing a jersey anymore.
You can't go just jersey. Like that's not even like most people I know don't even go just jersey. I know a lot of people that wear jerseys, but they don't go just jersey.
See, I can understand the jersey. I guess if you have to wear one, that you like put it on over the hoodie or something.
It's got to be a vintage jersey. For
me.
Like,
for sure.
I gotta go like old school Kobe, Shaq. Like,
Coach, I lived in the jersey era in college, where everybody and their mother.
Well, as a kid, I like growing up, the jersey era was in.
Bahama Mama, do you remember these days, Shea?
Bahama Mama?
That Kappa Sig. Did y'all do that?
I don't know if we did.
What was y'all's spring party?
Oh God,
y'all called it something different.
The something C's. What was it called?
Oh, it's like the 7 C's or something.
I was
like
gonna
that?
say 7 C's. That's not what it was called.
But we had to change it because apparently y'all got in some
South Seas.
South Seas, that's what it was. Y'all got in some hot water, so we had to rebrand. Feels very familiar to this. So we called it Bahama Mama. And did the same party, built the decks, brought the sand in, did the whole gambit. But that's when it was all jersey culture. Just throw on the Charles Barkley, like Suns All-Star Game jersey, and it's just like everybody has the same thing on. It's like, bro, get it. Y'all need to organize.
We all got to go different jerseys.
Yeah, I didn't go there. I wasn't a jersey guy. And then they started wearing them to ski trip. They would just throw it on over their jacket.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's a good way
Whatever floats your boat.
That's my guy. I know
who that is.
I tried to get a Patrick Peterson jersey for ski trip from China. It never came.
Ah, damn.
P. Peterson.
It's tough.
Somebody got it.
Somebody has that thing.
Yes, it went somewhere. Or they just made it and like, damn, this is fire. I'm keeping it.
I'm going to keep this.
I think I went purple, too.
Speaking of Patrick Peterson and LSU has some new faces. Shea, can you fill us in?
On what new face? Well, how many
new faces from the transfer portal?
Hold on.
When was?
Welcome in. Shea Dixon is back from his trip to Orlando. Great to see you.
Yeah, but it hasn't been that because I did do half a show that was.
Oh yeah, you did.
Kind of the recruiting hour.
But this doesn't. Yeah, this
but
is
I guess
a whole new.
Some people might have missed it.
Right, because we have our own branding that we're going on over here. Shea D,
some
the
people might have
aftermath
missed it.
of recruiting.
Oh God.
Oh, you did it again, you son of a bitch!
It was there already.
Reprimand him.
It was there.
He's fine.
It was.
You see the title. All right, get your
If
questions
Katie
in.
sees that,
I've got a new strategy. I'm
not
copy
taking that
and
bullet.
pasting all the questions right now.
Oh,
that I'm not far behind. Like.
Oh, dude, I could have told. I usually do that for you, and I put them in the document. But you had your own method, so I just let you kind of freestyle them.
Freestyle through the chat. We saw how that goes.
Well, the show got a little bit more popular than
Shane asked, "Do we ever start on time?" Starting early is on time.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're on time,
we're on BK's time right now.
All right.
We thought this made it a little easier. That if you were watching the Culotta show,
you just transfer right over.
You went ahead and got a bathroom break.
Smoke.
Ran and got some coffee, whatever you do, and then
Starbucks.
Slide back in.
Starbucks.
Coffee.
So the answer would be, Shane, no, we do not ever start at the exact same time.
Time is a spectrum. It's whatever you want it to be. Don't confine yourself to the construct of what time is. Stay on your own schedule. Don't listen to anybody else. Not even your work. You're probably at work watching this on your computer. I won't tell your boss. Your boss won't tell me. Your boss is probably watching too. Y'all can talk about it around the water cooler. If he has recruiting questions, tug on that tie. Go ahead and ask him. And we'll get him in the chat.
All right, I'm caught up to the current questions.
There we go.
So we can knock those out and then figure out how to approach from there and then get off script.
Absolutely. Well, I was just filibustering for you, so you
Ooh, I
can
like
get
that.
yourself organized.
Okay, here's one. I think we can all answer here. Don Juan Jose asks, Shea, who do you think is the most underrated recruit in the class? That's a good question.
Let me look at the current list.
Stewie, mull that over.
Yes.
The most underrated recruit. And I guess
I have an answer.
there is no wrong. Like, for instance, if you think Deshaun Womack is better than the 20th best player in the country, that could still be underrated.
Can I go like?
No,
offense
you
and
can't
defense?
go.
So we have to like pick the low.
No, okay, no, I'm
Can I
with
go
you. You
offense
could.
and defense?
Yeah, Stewie's got 2. I've got mine.
I've got mine on defense for sure.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, you go first.
Ashton Stamps.
All right, that's a great choice.
Anybody,
Out of Rummel,
Anybody from Rummel that plays DB, I am all for.
you're there.
That plays any position. They're just well developed. Over
Yeah, I
there.
mean they're
got
ready to play.
Something in the water, coach.
It really is. And who's my guy that played? Oh, Christian Fulton made him drink too much of the water. Got himself a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
But we figured it out.
When he was on the field, coach, it was.
He was a baller.
And he's an NFL starter.
Yeah, Jamar Chase.
NFL starter.
Just give me that R on the helmet. You can come on down to LSU anytime you like.
Okay, so
Okay, I like Ashton Stamps. Do you have an offense? Or are you letting it roll?
Let Stewie go, and I'll pick an offensive
Okay,
player.
Stewie.
okay, so defense. I'm gonna go transfer.
Oh,
I think Deuce Chestnut is a player. Like I think Deuce Chestnut is like the other. Whoever's on the other side, I think Deuce Chestnut is gonna start one corner, for sure. He's a bona fide boundary corner. Plays the ball well, in and out of his breaks. Plays off man, press man, zone. Like he's the whole package for a cornerback. Offensive wise, I'll go Kyle Parker. I really like him. I think he's college ready.
Okay.
And he's an early enrollee.
and, yeah, he's definitely the most college ready of the receivers they have coming in physically.
You always say that. I'm looking at 5'10", 175, and Kai Preen's right below him at 6 foot 190.
But if you see
If you
him,
saw them,
Like-
and Kyle Parker's probably bigger than what he's listed.
yeah, he's
at.
probably about 190 now.
I mean, he's thick, filled out kid.
Because that was going to be my offensive pick. If we can go transfer, obviously Aaron Anderson is my swan song. I cannot wait to see how LSU uses him. Just because I'm so disappointed, I guess, in how the Les Miles era went when you ever had Dante Jackson that obviously played corner but had aspirations to play offense as well. And they did it one time. He got a reverse against McNeese and the game got canceled. But
Didn't count.
Didn't count, but they used him on offense for one play. And I was like, okay, Les Miles is opening it up a little bit. And you can see the dynamic athletes that LSU has that can go both ways. And they just never do it. I wanted it to happen with Peterson more. They rarely did it. Obviously wanted to happen with Stingley. Never got that opportunity. I know Aaron Anderson doesn't play defense, but he's one of those game-changing guys that I want to see be able to change the game for you in a way that's like, okay, that guy just flashed. It doesn't have to be every play or every game, but he can do something once a game that can change the
game.
outcome. Yes.
Well, and on special teams as a return guy is
Absolutely.
where a problem you hope he solves.
Yes.
Okay, so you went Kyle Parker
And Deuce Chestnut.
and Chestnut. Chestnut's film's good.
Oh.
I see him like as a nickel.
Yeah, he's a smaller corner, but
He's probably a shade under 5'11", I've heard.
Mhm.
But he plays big.
yeah, he played outside corner at Syracuse.
Yeah.
Is that where he's from? Syracuse, right? Okay.
And he came on the show yesterday, and he said, obviously I want to play outside corner, but whatever the coaches want to put me, he's like, I'm very comfortable in the nickel. And he's like, Jordy asked him what made him kind of pick LSU, and he's like, look behind you. And it was Tyrann Matthew. He's like, that's the guy I kind of modeled my game after, and I take pride in being able to play safety, corner, nickel, like anywhere you want to put me on my ball. And I was like, all right, you're welcome. Come on in.
Okay.
I like that.
All right, I'll go. On defense, I want to go Whit Weeks. But I don't know
knew
if
that was going to be your pick.
But I don't know if that plays into the under, because he's like
He's going to play.
a
Yeah, I was gonna say,
consensus
he's probably
4-star
gonna-
top 200 player.
He's gonna have to play next year, right?
When he'll have to play. I mean, him and his brother are going to be the two linebackers in the 2 deep, unless you're taking anybody else. So, and that's assuming Greg Penn and Harold Perkins are your starting middle back, or two linebackers, which they've used Perkins in a variety of ways. I think because I think Whit Weeks will be a beast, but I won't go him because he's got a higher ranking than I'll choose Dylan Carpenter on defense. I think out of Santa Ma, they've never taken a Santa Ma kid. His senior year stuff was really good. He's a big kid.
Cool.
I think he's got a little position versatility to him. He's got a nice frame. He was a baller at basketball. I like
High
two-sport.
High motor.
No doubt.
Like, never stops. Film is just him running people down.
A little Aiden Hutchinson to him.
Yeah.
On offense, I will go. I don't want to choose the same people that have been chosen. I think DJ Chester doesn't get talked about enough. I think he'll be a starter at some point, which is what you hope to hit on when you take these offensive linemen in big numbers. You just want a couple of them to come through for you and be starters, and I think he for sure will be.
Do you see him more guard than tackle?
Yeah, but at the All-American Bowl,
He was center.
he was playing center, then he was playing guard, then he was playing tackle in the game. So
Shay, I wanted to ask you.
versatile.
Versatility.
After I was watching the bowl game, and obviously Fitzgerald West was playing center
Yeah.
before, but they had him on the defensive line. Was that like a depth thing? Or is
I
it
think it
like-
was depth, but because
Like, is that a move that make it?
he was a D-line in high school, then they were like, "Oh, come in and play center," and then he was there. Then he got moved over to D-line like during the year, but then there was a thought, I guess, that once like Garrett Dellinger got hurt, that he would probably have to be the backup center, even though we saw Marlon Martinez there. So my guess is he's staying at D-tackle, which he looked good.
I was going to say, he looked good at D tackle.
And he was really good in high school as a defensive tackle.
He looks like a defensive tackle.
No doubt. No doubt. But I thought he played really well. Him and Guillory had a great game.
That's
People are
promising.
weighing in. A lot of Kyle Parker choices in here.
Yeah.
Jackson Howard also was one that I thought about doing because he does have like NFL pedigree in his
Oh,
bloodline.
that's a good one. People are forgetting a lot
really
about
good
him.
senior year, sneaky good player. Isn't he the number one player in Minnesota?
For sure.
Okay, so, but who knows if he'll play as a freshman? Is he an early enrollee too?
Oh, does he have to play as a freshman? I guess that would make sense. I was thinking like Aaron Anderson was definitely a pick now
Yeah.
to see. I think Stamps is gonna. I don't know if you'll see him this year, but I think you'll see him
He probably has to
sophomore,
get bigger.
junior year. Yeah, and he's just gonna go out there and like you can't take him off the field.
Hunter Fournette said he loves the size on Jackson Howard, for sure.
Yeah,
like, have you seen this kid? He's a big kid.
Pause.
Love it.
Oh, and I wanted to another name that I thought about throwing out there just because of the lack of depth at the position, and this is something that I really want to kind of get your information on where LSU goes to the linebacker room. But Christian Braithwaite was a name that popped immediately to mind because, I mean, you mentioned the Weeks brothers. Obviously, you have Greg Penn. You don't know what exactly where Harold Perkins fits in that mix. I think Braithwaite's going to get an opportunity to play if they don't add anything through the portal. So I wanted to ask Shea the portal if there is any names at the linebacker room that may be still available.
One.
I mean, I guess there's some questions in here about linebackers in the portal. I get the feeling that, I mean, they've had a very close eye on linebacker in the portal, and we haven't seen a ton of movement there. I don't think there are a lot of guys who are right now like early enrollees who or spring semester enrollees who are jump off the page as like no doubt could come in and play for you, without question. There are a couple, some already committed to other schools, obviously. I think that they're now probably about to really gauge if they want to push and get somebody for the spring, or because Whit Weeks comes in the spring. So you've got 4 guys at linebacker, but that's not enough. And Braithwaite only makes 5. So you almost feel like they have to take a portal addition at some point. Is it a matter of waiting until the right guy goes into the portal? I think that's kind of the big thing. And I've heard there's guys, let's see, what's the Virginia linebacker's name who's in the portal that's like Nick Jackson. It's like the best linebacker in the portal maybe. He is graduating from UVA this semester, so he wouldn't show up till the summer. So that doesn't really get you anything for spring ball. You'd like to have someone you get in there and get really ready, but you still have a lack of depth. He's still really good. That's a guy I think that they'll try to get on a visit because he's already said, I don't have to make a decision right now. So he's got visits lined up through January into February.
And is this a situation when you talk about maybe won't be there for the spring, but they evaluate what they have in the room, and it might be
They just don't have much in the room.
It might.
so.
That's what I'm saying. It might put like a little bit more emphasis on. I mean, I'm sure they know the numbers and how thin they are at linebacker, but I'd imagine that would be like.
I think you're always too in that spot where do you take a guy just to take a guy, or are you taking a guy that you think will be an impact player for that will get in there and give you valuable reps.
And I know Brian Kelly's whole spiel on the portal is not to take a guy just to take a guy, but when your numbers are this low, it's almost like you have to break your own rule.
You
take a guy. Like, my hands are tied.
They will take at least one linebacker out of the portal. They have, I think, 6 or 7 open spots right now, so that's a good amount of available scholarships. So they'll take 1 or 2. I just don't know who it'll be yet. But I do think Nick Jackson is really good, and it's one that they've been watching. Someone asked about Juwan Mitchell out of Tennessee. Let me see. John Bro did. And he just recently went in the portal a couple of days ago. So I think they're monitoring all these guys. And I think we'll see something happen. I don't know when. All this portal stuff has no real timeline. Kids just pop onto campus a day after you call them, and suddenly they're like, yep, all right, I'm ready. I'm committed. Because I need to enroll in the next couple of weeks if I want to be there for the spring semester. So.
And I think you saw a little bit of that happen with Tolian, right? Didn't it feel like LSU, obviously going to the bowl game, he's gotten significant reps as a freshman at a position of need, and then like you said, the portal just kind of pops up. The next you blink and he's at Auburn.
Right. Quick,
fast.
There's no tampering in the portal, of course.
Yeah, of course not.
Nobody's tampering.
Hugh Freeze would never pick up a phone.
No.
Never. Cordell Music. As Shea, do you think Kylan Jackson will be converted to linebacker? I think he's too thin for that at this stage in his career. He is a physical in the box safety. Here's my thing. I think Kylan Jackson stays at safety. I'm almost wondering, are they looking at a safety in the portal? Because if you're moving Greg Brooks back to safety to play with Major Burns, that means your nickel is either Sage Ryan or Deuce Chestnut or somebody else. Yeah. And then outside of Brooks and Burns and then Sage, what safeties do you like? The only other safety on the team is Matthew Langlois. I guess Jordan Allen's more of a nickel. Langlois been hurt back-to-back seasons. Yeah. So then you've got Kylan, Ryan Yates. Doherty's more of a nickel for me.
And then I think that's where you...
That's it. That's your whole safety.
Brooks.
Well, yeah, Brooks. Imagine Brooks and Burns are starting.
Do you move Sage Ryan back to safety?
Okay, either way.
Put Greg Brooks in the nickel.
So if Greg Brooks plays nickel, then Sage is the starter with Major Burns, and your only other returning player is Langlois.
Yeah, it is. It is. The depth is.
So I would think you'd have to keep Yates, Kylan Jackson, all those guys at safety, and eventually look with all this help at corner they have on the way. Does Stamps move back to safety? Does Toviano move back to safety? You've got guys. You're trying to just patch 2 rooms right now with a blend of players. It'll be interesting to see kind of who all falls in the corner room or safety, because they do have some versatile guys by design. Let's see. John Bro, do you think Justin Rogers from Kentucky will commit to LSU? So he's the big nose tackle, 330-pounder out of Kentucky. He visited LSU first. He only went to the portal a week ago, Tuesday of last week. Visited LSU first, Thursday, Friday. Did not go to Miami as planned. Instead, canceled that, went to Auburn. Now he's got Bama this weekend, and I would bet that will be about it. And I think he wants to stay in the SEC after leaving Kentucky. So I don't know anything about what Justin Rogers is prioritizing. Like Kentucky said right when he hit the portal that it was an NIL thing, and they were challenging Kentucky's NIL folks to rally the troops and step up for guys like this. And I know Auburn gets mentioned heavy in NIL stuff. I don't know how important that is or kind of where LSU, Alabama, and Auburn will be on that front. But I do think he stays in the SEC, and it looks like he wants to be in the West.
It does feel like Auburn is heavy on the portal. Like they're trying to flip this thing around now.
Well, they have to. They have nobody.
They have
nothing. So
how many did they sign?
Hugh Freeze has 2 years.
No.
You talking about before he gets fired? Oh no, he's got more time than that. This is a drop the bag. Like we got a guy.
They better hope.
Dylan PM 04B Tones. Maybe I just didn't copy that correctly. Ask Shea, who do you guys believe? Oh, do you guys believe with a 12-team playoff, LSU will be a constant contender to win it all for the next 9 years? Ooh, very specific. So do you think LSU is going to make the playoffs every year if it's 12 teams?
Does that mean you'd have to be, if it's 12 teams, what are they going to, right? They're going to
2024.
12? Straight out the gate? Yeah, I mean, and imagine if you're not in that conversation every year. It depends on how how they react to the SEC and the conference realignment and what they do when they add Oklahoma and Texas, because you heard
Well,
Sankey,
can 8 of the 12 teams be SEC teams?
well, you heard Sankey. I mean, he was like, it was Sankey that said, I mean, I feel like the best teams are in the SEC, and then whenever they combine this thing, he doesn't want to do pods, or he's just going to let it be a free for all, because he doesn't want people to be able to pick a conference champion and base have bias off who won the SEC. So he doesn't want like an East and a West. He just wants to have a conglomerate, which I believe is the best way to do it.
So that way you just say,
So
yeah,
it's
we'll
just a
take them
fight
all.
to the death,
Yes.
pretty much, like the Pac-12.
Yeah, so everybody kind of beats up on each other, but
That's
we
a
all
good
have
point.
one
Okay.
loss.
But the Pac-12
I don't
has
hate it.
East and West. They still have like Pac-12 South and
Right,
Pac-12
but I think
North.
he's trying to
Turn
modify
that
that
even.
model.
So
where
it's still going to be East and West SEC, but it's just going to be
I
different.
don't know. I think he wants to keep it one.
Just SEC.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I don't like that.
It's the easiest way to do it in the short term, I'd imagine, instead of trying to realign and make conferences East and West. And I'd imagine they'll do rivalries, but then you can switch it up every so often.
Because like I'd like to see like LSU line it up with Georgia every other year, or every 3 years, or every 2 years.
I'd like to see look at Georgia's schedule next year. They don't play anybody. I mean, you could pencil them
They
in.
could three-peat.
Mm-hmm. With that, they went the whole Clemson route.
So, yeah.
No, Shea's just this is how he does it.
Yeah. He's just very quiet.
Well, I'm copy and pasting the question so I don't miss
He's
anything.
gathering all his.
Information.
As Shea, is Jeremiah Hughes being slept on to potentially push for playing time?
He did
from
play
Hunter
with
Fournette.
the number one receiver all year.
And he played at Gorman, which is a big-time high school. He's the only true corner they signed because they kind of they've lumped Toviano and Stamps into that group, and they're also safeties. So high school-wise, obviously it would have been a no-brainer. He would have been basically starting had they not signed all these transfer corners.
Toviano looked comfortable at corner at the All-American.
Yeah, I watched him all week. He didn't look bad at all. I will go Denver Harris starts. Zy Alexander starts.
Wow. I like him too.
Deuce Chestnut starts as a nickel. Or outside guy, or he could play Greg Brooks
some
or
length,
Sage
Coach.
in there.
You got some length on the defensive backfield. If you go,
I
Denver
think J.K.
Harris.
Johnson joins the class, and I think he's fast as all get out. But I don't know if he'd beat those guys out right away.
I haven't seen much.
Then
film
you
on
can
him.
fill in if Seven Banks is healthy, see what he can do. Welsh obviously is going to be in his second year. LaTerrence. So then where does Jeremiah Hughes get in from there? I would think he plays some. Yeah. One of those high school guys they signed is about to play at corner. I don't know who. He's got a 1 in 3 shot for it to be him. Let's see. As Shea, this is Silent Steps. I know LSU needs some edge rushers. Are we looking at Jordan Birch from South Carolina? I have not heard anything from Birch's camp about like LSU being a major player there. I need to and then he also asked about Hot Rod Finnegan, who's got a great name. Rodriguez Fitton. I think it's Hot Rod Fitton. Plays at South Carolina. He's an edge rusher. Anyways, he was out
Did
of Atlanta.
South Carolina just like lose their whole defensive line?
I guess so.
Hot Rod Fitton. What a name.
Hey, Spencer Rattler's back though.
Oh my God! Did you see that? He copied his whole flow. He did the Miles Brennan. I'm back. Like he did the
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street thing.
But okay, then I'll ask with that too. Did he really need to announce like
No.
Brennan was I'm back from the portal.
Right.
He was I'm coming back and not going pro.
That tells you all you need to know about Spencer Rattler, where he thought that he thinks so highly of himself that he thought that people were concerned about him.
It's
going
that
to the
Shane
NFL.
Beamer rubbing off on him. That
Exactly.
So they
Like
did think
mojo.
that he was leaving. Like it was.
Ain't nobody
it was
drafting
talks. Coach, trust me, somebody will.
I mean,
draft
he'll
him.
go in the 5th.
If you could throw the ball,
He
like
can throw that
can,
ball.
he'll get
But it
drafted.
just goes to his ego is unbelievable to me. Like Rattler is somebody
You're
that.
not a big Rattler fan?
Oh my! Did you see him on QB1? Have you ever watched that?
I have watched.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
he's
big head energy
he's-
all day.
Yeah, he's bullying people over his own teammate, trying to make him cry on camera.
Who was that kid? Was that JJ McCarthy?
I don't know.
I'm almost.
I think he's going to Arizona State, whoever that kid was.
That kid was like big time recruit too.
Mm-hmm. That's what you say. He's like, bro, I'm a 4-star. He's like, well, I'm a 5-star. He's like, well, go transfer. I'll see you. Fucking Rattler. Unbelievable, that kid. Good for him, though. He's back.
Ooh, the chat likes Deuce Chestnut at nickel, too. Just so we know. All right, let's see.
Am I missing something with Zy Alexander? Should I be expecting him to be penciled in as a...
Lloyd,
I'm trying to find highlights of him.
I told you, you don't catch 19 picks or however many picks he had, double-digit interceptions in college just by being
there.
Oh, yeah, around.
So, yes, he can play.
He only got 1 minute and 45 seconds on YouTube.
I know. I mean, J.K. Johnson doesn't have any on YouTube.
I know. I can't find a lick.
All right, well, Oilfield Trash 12, as well as Shane, asked how many high school players will LSU find in February? I think that's a great question because I think the answer has a chance to be 0, and I don't think that's a big deal. Like, the only really big name out there is Nicholas Harbor, and his decision not to play D-line and play tight end instead, I think, puts LSU in a much less advantageous spot. And they just signed 3 guys in December that play tight end. So you've got, I mean, what are you going to sign 4 tight ends? I mean, he's a good player. He's a great athlete, obviously, an insane athlete. Like, elite track guy.
Yes.
It's just about how far can he grow his football game. And now playing tight end, there is a sense of, okay, he's really going to have to hone in. As opposed to, like, being an edge rusher, and it was like, here's some technique and some moves. Now go, just get the quarterback.
Do you have a feel of which way he's leaning?
I would guess probably staying on the East Coast unless he's going to Michigan. I know George is trying to get in the bigs. Nicholas Harbor.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Maryland,
Michigan.
South Carolina, Michigan.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if there's an opportunity, because you've seen this happen before, where they say, yeah, you can come in and play tight end. I mean, Nick Saban is like...
I mean, yeah.
This
He's
is what he
all
does.
time,
Yeah,
man.
he's
You
like...
can play receiver if you want.
Yeah, Marcus Spears caught a pass at tight end. He's like, you know what? You'd be better at defense. Like, I'll give you your sure
And
shine.
you can make that pitch, but the reality is right now, LSU, Pimpton and Jax McGohan are better tight ends.
Right, they're more
Harbor.
polished.
Mac Markway.
And Markway's more of a blocker, like a in-line
And you got
type
Pimpton,
guy.
who caught a...
Beast.
Took it off somebody's
And
head at the
McGohan's
All-American
good.
game.
So I don't know. I just don't expect Harbor. When they were pitching the edge rusher / track thing,
It made sense.
I just thought that put him in a better spot than now him being like, never mind, I just want to be a tight end.
So you're saying he works out better at an edge rusher, you think?
I think he would. I think that's where everybody gets paid, right? Unless
Yeah.
you're Kelsey
I was about to say.
Oh, he got kicked off the team, too, at Cincinnati.
Yeah,
by Brian Kelly.
Mm-hmm. He had to come back.
BK was the coach. I forget Brian Kelly coached at Cincinnati.
He coached both the Kelsey brothers.
Iron Fist. Was Denbrock the OC, too?
I don't know about back then.
I mean, I love that man loves a tight end.
These some lifetime ride or dies. Every level has been rolling. I guess on that note, Shane asked, what happened to the center from Cincinnati? Has he signed with anyone yet? Jake Renfro, the Cincinnati center, was on campus this past weekend, went home and announced his commitment to Wisconsin, which is where Luke Fickell, former Cincinnati head coach, is now. He's a guy who missed this past year. He had an injury right before the season started. But the prior 2 years, when he had played for Denbrock at Cincinnati as the offensive coordinator, he was starting his freshman and sophomore years. So it was interesting, though, that they were bringing a guy in. Like, that was the first time they brought a guy in where you were like, they already have that, like, a starter at that position. So clearly Kelly's not afraid of a little competition.
No, he's
like
not,
when you rack up on D-line and corner, everyone's like, nobody's offended because that's
then you did a position of
yeah,
need.
they just have to have them. Like,
Then you go, well, we have centers.
like if you get a linebacker, no one's like, damn, like Harold Perkins, what's up?
Yeah,
like, they just went and took a new guy.
There's only 5 spots at center, and it's on the offensive line, and it's like
And only one's called center.
right, and
The other two at least share a name, and there
Yeah.
could be
Any
you could be
guard.
talking about the other guy.
Yeah, this is just the one. It's like quarterback.
I don't know. Marlon Martinez looked good in the bowl game
He
too,
did
so
look good in the bowl game.
maybe that's your options. Is
is
Charles
Charles Turner
Turner
hurt?
keeps the job or Marlon Martinez battles?
Is
and
Charles
takes it?
Turner hurt? Because he didn't play at all in the bowl games.
He must have been hurt at some point, right?
Because I didn't see him at all.
Who played center when Turner went out?
Martinez.
Who are you asking? Is he hurt?
I was asking if
Charles
Turner was
Turner.
hurt.
I think he started, right? I think he started and got hurt, didn't he? I saw him at the bowl game. He was there.
Oh, well, that counts for something. Because
Am I missing that?
I mean, with the
I don't know.
I might
Tiviano
have missed
news.
it. I don't know, but that's
Someone in the chat will know.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Trevante Garrett asked, are we getting Anthony Lucas on a visit? I could see him taking Ollie Gay's spot if we move Savion to BJ's spot, which I think they'll do some of that, moving guys around that could go into different positions, whether it's that Ollie Gay position with your hand in the dirt as a D-end or the Ojulari like stand-up edge rusher. They've got some guys who could do both. I do not think they'll end up getting Anthony Lucas on a visit. I guess I can't say for sure. It appears that he is trending to the Trojans. He went to California. This is the Texas A&M 5-star that got kicked off the team midway through the season.
Seems to be a laundry list
With a bunch of other guys.
Yeah.
So he was from Arizona originally. LSU had recruited him coming out of high school. But he was at UCLA and USC over the weekend. And now people out there think that like he's about to make a decision and pick one of them.
I mean, if you don't leave the West Coast,
There's some thought that it would
it's
be
hard to get out of there if you're stuck, especially
it
with
would
no
be
travel.
the Trojans. Well, and all airfare is grounded today. You saw that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you're whatever recruiting visit you went on, you're stuck there. You're about to get to know these people real well. Go to class, take some notes, maybe make a commit.
Yeah. Oh, people are saying on Jordan Birch, Oregon, because of NIL. Cordell Music said that. I
Charles
shouldn't say
Turner
people.
did start at center in this game.
Yeah,
Okay, and then he got hurt, and then
went to the tunnel.
Martinez went in. Let's see. Rattler, got some Rattler talk. I'm catching up on that.
Oh, I missed it.
Okay, Keem asks, and this we're not a show that's going to just be bashing people, right? And I don't think he's trying to. I'm going to leave out one part he says about this, but Keem says they, and really you could say they means Brian Kelly and the staff, spoke highly of Colby Richardson. Is Zay Alexander going to be better than that level? I think that's a good question. I think he is. He had offers from like Miami, USC, LSU, like a ton of schools were on Zay Alexander.
P5.
That wasn't the case with some of the other, non-FBS guys at DB that they had been on, like in the past few years.
Yeah, I guess that's where my head is. That's what I'm trying. That's why I'm
Like
cautiously.
Darren Evans, Colby Richardson, like I would think that there is an expectation Zay Alexander is
falls
further
into that
along.
group, but he's a little bit. Maybe
I would
a
think
tough-
he's better
yeah.
than that group. I mean, he's had more production than that group had. playing
Yeah,
at
but that's
Southeastern.
my
They were
my
equals.
brain
And
lumping
McNeese.
them together because it's a smaller school in Louisiana that obviously those.
Well, I
cats,
get when we'll have to prove it.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, as I'm saying, the
I'm
jumping
sure he's
competition is
anxious
real.
to prove it.
Yeah, but I'll watch that same highlight film you're watching, Stu. He can play, and he's 6'3".
That's against La Tech, coach.
Yeah, they ain't bad. But that's what I'm saying. The jumping competition always. That's what we'll see. He's going to be in here early. He'll be in the spring. We'll know real fast because they were hiding against that wide receiver room. If you're a DB, you can get exposed quick.
Last spring, Coach Malik Neighbors was taking lunches.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I want your lunch and your lunch money.
get back in line.
And when you get back tomorrow, I want it again.
Mm-hmm. Tell your mom's extra mustard.
Tell her I don't like that mayo she putting on there.
I know Miracle Whip, man. I don't want fop, goddammit. Dapper Dan, man.
All right, we've got more questions. Jordan Haddad, does Jacoby Matthews or Evan Stewart transfer out of A&M? He means. I would think, Stu, you're always hip to the A&M stuff too. I would think all the A&M guys that were leaving would already be in the portal,
they're
like
out.
because Denver Harris outdone. Anthony Lucas is out there and he's taking visits. Like those guys haven't
What happened with
done
the other?
anything. Remember Edge Cooper flirted with the portal, like put out on Instagram, like headed to the portal, and like a week later had a hype video about not going to the
Staying
portal.
at A&M. I mean, that was.
So yeah, I would think A&M's done enough to figure out by now.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even play in a bowl, so they've had a month and a half where their kids are just chilling. It's not like they've been in some structured practice environment. So if you've made it through a month and a half of that, you're probably good by now.
Yeah, and like most schools start class next week, so if they haven't transferred already,
Right.
they'll probably be stuck there till after spring.
I would think the guys that you saw leave were the 5 that were suspended, right? All were freshmen. it seems like all of which were told you're not coming back to A&M, so they had to hit the portal, if I'm reading the tea leaves correctly. So those were the 5 that you kind of had a shot at. Like, everybody in the nation could have had, they had the pick of the litter where they wanted to go except for A&M. So I think that mass exodus made you think that more was coming, but I think those guys had to hit the portal because
A&M
you ain't welcome here.
They have like 28 in the portal right now.
Yeah.
So.
But I think they're going to – Shea said this in past episodes where he said, look, you can laugh at A&M all you want, but they're going to double down on their experience and what they did last year, correct? Like, they're sticking to their NIL game plan.
Yeah.
Well, I just said if they were going to do all that to get him, what would they do to keep him?
Right. It seems
And we're seeing that happen.
Seems like they did what they had to do to keep him.
that's a slippery slope they're walking, because if you keep doing that and doubling down, then I'm just going to flirt with the portal every time.
Give me that extra 500.
Yeah, Christmas bonus.
Terry McGill asked, a great Oklahoma linebacker in the portal. Have we reached out? I'm assuming he's talking about the David Ogwegbu kid.
I was going to try to
went in a couple days ago.
Say his name.
I guess it's Ogwegbu. It's my best guess. Yes, look, they are looking, every kid that goes in the portal, by the time you see it hit, like, here's what the portal is. It's just like a computer database, right? And Matt Zenitz, for instance, on 3, will just tweet out portal news all day. Well, he's, once it's in there and pops up, and then by the time he sees it and gets it and puts it out, in that amount of time where the public's seen it, LSU has already seen it and is all over checking out film and all that. So every linebacker that hits, they're watching. Now, this is a kid who had played in 50 games at OU. He had, let's see, what was last year? Tell you what he, go back. I think he started in almost every game for him, something close to that. Anyhow, he's from Katy, Texas. There's a line of thought, 50 career games, started a bunch this past year he finished second on the team with 109 tackles. Sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
From reading OU's people's perspective, he's getting like the Greg Penn type of treatment where people are like, he was about to get replaced. I'm a big Greg Penn fan.
I think Greg Penn's pretty good.
I'm calling out. Well, there's obviously a faction that thinks like, oh, Greg Penn's not good. They did this to Damone Clark early in his career. Mm-hmm. Well, this kid evidently is saying he was going to be replaced next year, and there's buzz that he might go to Houston. So the portal's so tricky. Like, when you look at that and you say, this is an honorable mention all Big 12, 6'4", 240, 100 and something tackles, played 50 career games. Take him, no doubt.
Yeah.
Then they're like, oh, well, here's reality. He was playing middle backer. We've got other guys coming in. He was starting to trend towards losing playing time. He might actually be going to a school like Houston. So for these coaches, that's why for every kid that comes in, you just got to put on the film.
Yeah. Turn on the tape.
See what you think. But I don't know. Keep an eye on him. He could well be good. Could just be a bunch of OU haters mad that he's in the portal.
What about the Texas linebacker? Wasn't he on campus this weekend?
He was. He has a similar name, so I was about to just say the same thing. His name is...
God, they are trashing the Wegbu.
Ovi Agufo. Mm-hmm. An edge rusher. He was on campus this past weekend.
We'll take that.
With Gilbert Edmond who was on campus this past weekend too, an edge rusher from South Carolina. With Gilbert Edmond going from South Carolina to Florida State, I think that might then open the door for Ovi Agufo
I thought he was coming to LSU.
To end up at LSU.
Yeah, they were trashing the Ponderosa on the boards because everybody wanted to announce who's my guy from South Carolina.
Gilbert Edmond.
Yeah, they were like, it feels like it's an LSU, like almost, and it's inevitable. And then Billy Embody had to hop in and was like, look, we'll announce whenever we have the news. Y'all can go ahead and say whatever you like. And so
some Twitter account put out like college portal news.
Yeah, college football portal.
Transfer portal.
Yeah, that he was expected to go to LSU, and we were like, I don't know about that.
I went to his Twitter right after.
They did a good job recruiting him, they felt like, but no sources right. Man, we hadn't heard anything from the kid unless he's just telling random Twitter accounts.
And he's from Florida.
Correct.
That's what people miss.
And Florida State's been
cleaning up
in the portal, just eating.
I mean, they've been
Game 1's going to be a great one.
They've been cleaning up on both sides, the portal and keeping their players in the boat for next year.
Jared Verse coming back is nuts to me.
Insane.
I mean, we talk about NIL. But he's a first rounder, right?
Yeah.
He was like a top 15 pick.
Coach, that Will Campbell, you want to be first round? You want to be top 5?
Yeah, dude, nobody's licking their chops more than Will Campbell.
There you go.
Because, I mean, he held his own,
Get your
but
rematch
now I'm
cuz.
ready.
Oh, I got a little weight.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, that was my first game of my life in college football, and I'm like, him?
That's
All right,
him.
strap it on again. Let's go, round 2.
Where you said he came from Liberty? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Before?
It was like a purple and gold school. It starts with an A. Blank it on.
Albany.
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 Is that New York?
It's the capital of New York.
But yes, the Ovia Gofo kid is at Texas, hit the portal. He's got a year left, but he was recruited, signed, and played for Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, and I guess Brian Polian too. But Kelly at Notre Dame for 3 years. 18, 19, 20.
Can he play special teams?
Shoot, what? Play anything. But I'd be surprised now if they were giving that kid a green light to link back up.
Let's do
You
it.
paying attention?
No.
The kid out of Texas
Did you just unplug yourself?
played for Brian Kelly.
You're doing a
For
great
3
job
years.
over there.
I'm
You
back.
would think they know exactly what they're getting in him. And now that the Gil Bradman kid is not going to LSU, I would think you've got an even bigger window open if you want another edge rusher.
That would hurt more, right? Because he had multiple years of eligibility
Right.
left. Like the OV, I don't even know how to
We're
say
calling him
it.
Ovi.
OV, he only has a year left on his.
I think he's just got one more year. I mean, he's been
Notre
playing
Dame,
since
Texas.
2018.
Oh yeah, he's.
Good Lord.
Him and Micah Baskerville were on the same.
They need to find somebody at linebacker. It's making me nervous.
it's
Because
tough.
they keep adding corners and edge. So it makes me think that I know they have a plan. Like I said, LSU doesn't do anything in half measures. They've been very measured in what they've done in the portal by who they're going to take. They know they vet them extremely well. So I don't know if this is a situation in which they're trying to build their defense to look a little bit different. But all I know in football, you need people in the middle at some point. Or they're putting a lot of pressure on Greg Penn to man that spot. Or we brought this up yesterday to Jordy. Do you think that this is a situation where you kind of shuffle Harold Perkins inside? Is this his time to play?
I think it's one of the biggest questions of the offseason, right? What does Matt House do with Harold Perkins?
Because Jordy's of the vein, and it's hard to disagree, but I don't know how much untapped potential Perkins has. He's like, don't mess with him. Let him do what he's doing right now, which is a game wrecker.
I think they could almost expand his role the same as the Cowboys do with Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons plays middle backer. He plays outside. He plays whatever they want him to play, he could play it. And I think that's what Harold Perkins is. He's just a plug and play wherever you want to put him. You could put him at the nickel, blitz him from the nickel. You could put him in the middle, blitz him from the middle. Put him on the edge, blitz him from the edge. So I think Perkins just no position, just play around. Play around with that.
Because that's what I agree.
Matt House said he's barely scratched the surface of what he is supposed to or could be as a linebacker.
Right. That's what I think. Because there is a way, whenever you saw even Texas A&M, obviously Tennessee, where you could get Harold Perkins almost off the field, like there's a way around him. If you put him as versatile as he seems to be, if you start putting him in the middle, start putting him at different positions, you can't avoid him. And
So
that's
he's
what
Micah Parsons, basically,
yeah,
I think.
to where every time you look up, you
Like-
see 40 or 7 just staring you in the face. You're like, damn, I can't get away from this man.
See, I'm not going to say they should because they know more than I do, but
Right.
like what the smart thing would be to do is just stand him up in the middle of the defense and like let him roam. When the offense breaks the huddle, then he goes to a side or he stays in the middle. Now you can't identify where Harold Perkins is every play, and they can't just run away from him.
Mm-hmm. And even when he ran away from him,
He's
he'd
still
track
there.
you down.
I'm still fast.
I am interested in that because it feels like for the Greg Penn slander that was out there, he was compared to everybody else that was on the field. Baskerville played so well. Harold Perkins burst on the scene. Greg Penn was at least a constant to get him back. And obviously I think he's just shove him right in the middle. He's massive. He can fill that gap for you, but I think they're going to have to get creative in terms of how they kind of face a team that wants to line up against LSU and say, "All right, we're playing power football today."
Yeah.
Jordan Haddad asks, is Tommy Reese the worst person in the world?
Oh.
There's some Tommy Reese hate in the chat.
I don't even know who. I know who
Tommy-
he is, but
yeah,
like,
Notre Dame offensive coordinator.
yeah.
They always just put a camera on him, and he freaks out the whole.
Well,
you know.
yeah, he is always
He's like-
freaking out.
Well, and because they had lost early, and the offense was absolutely awful, and their defense was good.
Did they win their bowl game?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Who did they play? South Carolina?
Yes.
Yeah. They came back and won too.
But they, after those first few games, like when the offense was so bad and they were losing to Marshall and Stanford or whoever, they started, like, everyone was blaming Tommy Rees. And so they started putting, like, the camera in the box. And it was just him, like.
They caught him, like, cursing out.
Yeah, it was just him, like, obviously, like, fighting for his life and his job on camera every
Drew
week.
Pine, you're not going to be the one that makes me
Yeah,
lose this
no,
game.
it was put him on the phone.
God, could you imagine, like, I mean, Mikey tells a story about his first pass, or the first time he played quarterback in high school. He goes on the field, and he forgot to play. His first snap of his first, like, high school game, they just play in starting quarterback, has to call a timeout, first play, and he didn't even get to the head coach. The quarterback's coach of the booth like, put him on the phone right fucking now. And he was like, what are you doing calling timeout in the first play? I literally just told you. He's like, I'm freaking out, man. He's like, well, figure it out. And he just hung up on him. And he's like, stop freaking out. He's like, just run power. Call something. We're not calling another timeout. So, I mean, Tommy Rees does have that attitude about him. You saw the interview with Rosillo whenever it was announced that he wasn't taking the job at LSU. And he's like, Brian Kelly had some constraints on me that I didn't think. You know, he had his system that he wanted in place. And he's like, now I feel unencumbered to call my own offense. And he goes and drops the ball against Marshall and loses, the first game of the year. So, Tommy Rees put a little pressure on himself.
Terrible for the guy.
Drew Pine said, don't take that out on me. I did not tell you to say that.
I didn't do anything.
Cordell Music asked, Shea, did you see the Brett Bielema tweet about an Auburn commit that flipped from him? Did y'all see that?
No. What did he say something about tampering?
Yeah, no, I just was like, something to the effect of, like, college football isn't what it used to be or something like that. Like, it was like Auburn, kid had announced he had transferred to Auburn, like, with their graphic, and Bielema just quote tweeted it and was like,
oh, yeah, it's like a massive loss for Bielema, and he quote tweeted, just said loss?
Oh,
Question
no,
mark.
no.
Hashtag ILL.
not that one. Maybe that one then, but he had another one. I thought that it was like just college football is not what it used to be.
Yeah,
and he could have deleted this. You might need a screenshot. No, that one.
College football is changing every day. Hashtag NIL.
So the kid that used to be on his team announced his commitment to Auburn, and the head coach quote tweeted the kid and hashtagged NIL in it.
Wow.
I mean, Brett's not long for this life, right?
Well, now you've got an SEC head coach in the West openly saying that Auburn is just using NIL to get the players.
Wait, what head coach is saying that? Head coach of
Oh, wait, I was thinking
Yeah, I was
Pittman
ready
for a
to say,
second. I was
yeah.
in my old Bielema days. Bielema, yeah.
Yeah, he was at Arkansas.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, now he's at Illinois.
Illinois.
Got a few wins against LSU. Coach.
Yeah. Hey, Deuce Chestnut. Oh, no, he went to Syracuse. Never mind.
Yes,
Same
I was in
colors.
my Pittman bag for a second. Pittman probably doesn't know how to use Twitter, so he's not doing that.
Just gonna have me a few cold ones.
Yeah. What does he say when he gets a recruit? Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I mean, I just need me a cold beer.
Oh, man. Okay, we'll take a couple more. Wrap up here. Nathan East asked, what do we think is the 1-2 spot for running back next year? And can Holly jump the ranks quickly? Move up the ranks, I guess. Trey Holly, the signee. Well, I think this whole thing depends on if Emory's coming back. And Emory has till Monday to announce.
Oh, my God.
He's coming back.
I think he's leaning to coming back. Early on, everyone that I talked to was like,
He's gone.
we don't get it, he's gone. Now it was, hey, look, I think he's starting to come around.
Can't
and
keep up with all this
come back.
NIL stuff.
Get it done.
But then it would be for me, Emory and Josh Williams. And then Kane proved certainly, like they like to run it a lot when they get to the red zone, and a guy like Kane was heavily involved in that.
I mean,
So
Noah Kane scored the first touchdown this year.
Yeah, he did.
That. Florida State.
And that's
he had like 3 in the bowl game, huh?
I mean, I think he might have had 2 against Florida State too.
And that's when you get into the conversation, when you look at the LSU running back room. I think after the spring, there's going to be some probably serious conversations about Noah Kane, Armani Goodwin, John Emery. You add,
Caleb
obviously, Josh Williams is still on the team. Caleb
He's a
Jackson,
starter.
Trey Holly. You have 5 running backs. There's only
Six.
one.
Six.
There's only one ball. And so I could see a world
Emory's in
where-
his final. Emory would be in his final year. Kane would be in his final year. Williams would be in his final year, presumably. So like half the room would disappear
Yeah.
after next year.
And then Goodwin.
And
like,
Goodwin would be junior at that
Junior,
point.
Yeah, and he's
And
played.
he's had back-to-back season-ending injuries.
Yeah, I don't like that for him.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. He would
because
be
when
the-
he's healthy, you see the burst.
Oh, I know.
He's like Chris Hilton.
He's so.
When
good
he's healthy and he's out there, you're like, oh, he's got a
Like,
gear.
Oh, he was the running back at one point. Like,
yes,
he was the guy.
your starter.
Like
And then
that-
he goes down, opens the door for Josh Williams, who will not giving that thing up.
John.
For he'd
Emery
fight
is-
for his life.
John's just trying to score.
Yeah, I mean that's a great problem to have when
Yep.
you have Josh Williams and John Emery, and you can kind of salt the game away with Noah Kane. It's a
This
three-headed
running back room
monster.
is,
Yes, but I loved having Armani just as that change of pace. Like gone,
I could put my foot in the ground and go.
go.
60.
But I guess you have JD for that.
Yeah. But it adds a threat when you have the running back. That
We
can
got
do
7 running backs in the room.
Well, yes, and as Hunter Fournette pointed out, JD's going to get his touches,
Oh, absolutely.
his carries.
I mean, JD's that.
This running back room set the school record for most rushing touchdowns by an offense in school history.
Wow.
Now, Jaden had 11 of those, 37 or whatever. But when they get in the red zone, they were pounding it. Noah Kane, Emery,
Running coach.
Josh Williams. They're running a lot. I think they had 37 rushing touchdowns, which is the most ever by an LSU offense.
And it feels so good because the last 2 years, it's almost like you didn't even have a run game.
Right.
Like, it was non-existent. You had John Emery in 2020, and they still barely gave him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
2021, I can't even.
I can't even remember 2021.
It was a blur because it was so bad.
2022 was great.
2022 was beautiful. That's why I can't remember.
We're completely caught. Every question is answered, boys, and we're a full hour.
Yeah, we did it.
That's the first time we've ever done it.
On time.
And where is the haters now that we're saying, do we ever
Ever.
start
We
on
stick to
time?
the clock around here.
Yeah, we got a clock in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, we do stick to the 1 hour usually. And just the starting time varies, but the end time, whenever we started, we end it. Just look at bookend it. Brought to you by.
Lance Bill.
Are we a running football team?
Mm.
Is that what's going to make people upset? You've got all these athletes on the outside, and they just run that ball every play.
Is anybody upset at Georgia that their receivers don't catch?
They catch
I
them when
mean,
they
that's
have to.
12 personnel football right there.
Yeah, and I mean, look, if you haven't noticed what's going on at
You don't
LSU,
see. Hey, receivers can shine in 12 personnel. You don't see Lad McConkey out there
God,
eating every week.
Lad, baby. He's eating every week.
I didn't know he could get up like that.
Coach Lad's a player.
Bill Belichick's just salivating.
Oh my, Bill's like
Let's get a high school ranking here.
he's like, let me get Stetson Bennett.
Number 188 receiver in the country. Number 125 player in Georgia. Number 1,143 overall prospect in the 2020 class. Offers included, he's from Georgia. Georgia Southern, Army, Kent State, and Vandy.
Name the one that doesn't fit.
And Furman and Bucknell. William and Mary, and that's it.
And
Kirby
wait, can
said-
you give me Stetson's list as well?
Kennesaw. Well, Stetson walked on at Georgia, went to JUCO, and then just went back to Georgia.
They told him he
So
wasn't.
Stetson's
They told
list
him to
would be
leave.
nothing.
They're like, are you trying to play football here? Or do
Quarterback?
you wanna give out water?
Yeah, you can be a GA. Did you see that?
He came out. He might have gone into JUCO as a boy, but he came out
Not
a
a
man.
man.
Off the other side of
I got
JUCO.
hair on my chest now.
Yeah, he came back and he goes, "I'm not going back to JUCO. I'm going to Georgia and I'm gonna play. I'm not going back to that. I mean, that's a private school kid going to prison.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going back. Not for me.
I don't belong here.
Nope, shouldn't be here." But
So that's the lad.
they showed a picture of
Breakdown.
Stetson and Matthew Stafford shaking hands after the game. He's like, "I think they took classes together in
Yeah,
Georgia."
Somebody was like, he was Matt Stafford's backup.
Yeah. I mean, good for him though. That's an unbelievable story.
What a
But
life.
I don't want to call it talent evaluation. I don't know how that happens at Georgia when they have that guy at quarterback. When you're talking about strictly on star rating, right? Lad McConkey and Stetson
And
Bennett
Stetson.
and guys that had offers
Well,
from Furman and Army.
But then everybody else on the team is
Yeah.
beasts on defense, beasts on the O
Bear
line,
Alexander.
some other talent. 2 of the best tight ends in the country, and that's not even including Eric Gilbert.
What's his story?
Some solid. I think he went back in the portal. Didn't
There
he?
was another tight end that they have on their team that looks just like Brock Bowers. He wears number 4. His last name's like Depp.
Oh yeah.
They just
That
have
guy was a
bodies.
big time player.
Like Georgia's all bust team
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Damn. All right, we coming. That's all right. And for all of your lawyer needs,
You saw the Kirby speech was not from that game.
was it really not?
No, it was. They said it was from a game earlier this year. Could have been the LSU game.
Might have been. It probably was.
Oh God.
Damn. We were blowing him up for that.
Y'all
too.
know y'all are better than them.
Look at him. I went on Fox today. I want to stand up and play right there.
Energy.
Yeah.
Kick
Effort.
that ass.
I mean, he grabbed the trophy and jumped with it. Like
Kirby is a wild man. I don't know how long
Love
that's
the guy.
sustainable. Because if they start losing, he's going to look like Will Muschamp.
yeah.
Where it's like, this man is insane. He's lost his mind. But
Well, look, the rhetoric not 3 years ago was Kirby will never win a big
can't
game.
win the big one.
I mean, the man was calling fake punts with Justin Fields against Bama in an SEC championship. He
He
was
did it against LSU.
melting on the biggest of stages.
He just had too many trinkets. He had too many toys.
Nah, well,
Yeah. Well,
you
not
do
really.
enough dumb stuff in big moments, you learn.
Maybe don't do that dumb stuff.
I'm not. What happens if I don't do that dumb stuff? And
And then you see
Yeah,
the
you
other
just
side of
kick
him, where
everybody's
he's
ass.
calling timeouts on fake punts right before they happen. And it's like Kirby can see the future.
Mm-hmm.
When you get that Riz coach, it
Maybe
doesn't go
maybe
away.
he was just the tenant. You just saw it before it
You
happened.
saw it. Set your watch.
Limitless.
No, that was the
Oh,
Equalizer.
see-
Denzel
Oh,
the
Washington.
Equalizer.
I was talking about Tenet, the movie.
Oh, okay. I gotta
Where
watch
they go-
that.
It's mind blowing. Not gonna lie.
Oh, Tenet stinks,
It's kind of like Inception, but like.
but worse. Like just terrible.
I liked it.
So Tenet, they can. Do you remember the old Madden where you had a rewind? Like if you threw a pick, you could hold down X and it would bring you back. And
Yeah.
You could rerun the play. That's what Tenet is.
Yeah, but it's like people. Like,
It's not football.
nah, yeah, it's just regular people.
So like bus will blow up and they'll be like, "Whoa, shit!"
Okay. You know what show I loved back in the day? It's not a movie. This would have been. Y'all are probably too young for this. This would have been mid '90s, but it was called Early Edition. Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights, the dad, the coach on it. If you ever watched that.
Oh, what's his name? And what's the coach's name?
What's on Friday Night Lights?
Yeah,
Coach Taylor?
Coach Taylor.
Yeah.
Eric Taylor?
Yep.
They put for sale.
But
signs
yeah,
in his
so on
yard.
Early Edition, every day he got, like he lived in some big city, and he got the paper delivered, but it was actually tomorrow's paper. So he would like go around the city trying to save all
Oh.
the bad things that were going to happen to people.
See, I would do the opposite, right? Like, you'd start putting out, like, if you saw an injury, you're starting to put, like, futures out on.
You're
bets.
just gambling.
Yeah, I'm gambling with
You
that.
don't even need to
I'm
do
not
that. If
trying
you
to
had
solve
tomorrow's
crime.
paper, you just had to score it.
Yeah.
It's like
See,
the
I'm trying to think how it
Butch's Almanac or
Yeah.
whatever his
If
name
he had
is.
the limitless pill, he just
Oh, my God.
sports bet
All
the time.
day. I would have-
Mattress Mac.
Lloyd has a model.
I put 3.1 on Georgia to win the Natty.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, I did an alternate spread. Georgia minus 40.
Yeah, but check that out. That was an old school show. I'm sure it's on like a Hulu or whatever.
I'm
You
just
can
looking
still
it
watch
up. How did you fall down this rabbit hole?
Early edition. Well, y'all were talking about
No,
being able
no,
to
like-
see into the future, and
I got that, but you're watching Fox Family Channel?
no, that's not what it's on. It came on like NBC.
CBS. I just don't watch the
CBS?
sitcoms. I'm proud of you. I mean, it gets early 2000s. You really didn't have a choice.
It's not a sitcom. It would be like any like CSI type
Yeah,
show. What do you
okay,
call
I
those?
got you. Yeah.
It's like a
Damn.
drama.
96 to 2000. Hell of a run.
That's a long time.
Kyle Chandler. Do you
That's
think
right.
he saw a job opening for
He did.
the
He saw
Permian
himself
Panthers?
being Coach Taylor
Coach Taylor.
and getting to marry Tammy Taylor.
She drinks so much wine on that show.
Mm-hmm.
Just a glass of wine every night. I guess I would too if my coach had players on his team that were committing murder that walked on. That redhead. That's when I stopped watching. I was so out on that show. Like
They tried to go too far with it.
Yeah.
Like it was good. At
Now you give me Voodoo from New Orleans that shows up
He
and
was
wants
great.
to play. Cool. That's when I was all in. I mean, put him on. That's
Bring
like the
him
Ryan
on.
Perley. Like, get him in the game.
You know, I was a big JD fan. What's his name? Like the rich kid quarterback that came from the other school.
Oh, is this
Oh,
another season?
that had like the quarterback coach and like they were
Yeah,
like, you
what
have
was
to
his
hire
name? JD something. Oh man, why am I blanking here? I've only seen it 5,000 times.
JD McCoy.
JD McCoy.
JD Young Gun McCoy.
Massive JD McCoy fan.
See, I like Sorensen. Underdog story.
Do you know what Sorensen is? And just Georgia's quarterback.
Yeah, he's Stetson Bennett.
They just did a TV show in front of our eyes, and nobody stopped him. Matt
Really?
Saracen. Didn't Saracen throw like a game winner in his first game?
Yeah.
Like a bomb?
Yeah. He can sling it, coach.
Eyes were wide open. Clear eyes, full hearts.
Can't lose.
Still booze.
Tim Riggins.
Still boozing. Bull in the ring with that man. He's like, Coach, he smells like beer.
We're going to have to shut. We could just talk Friday Night Lights forever.
I think I have to pick it back up.
Tim Riggins is my number one.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, you and every girl on the planet.
Did Tim
No
Riggins
doubt.
sleep with my mom?
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
Who
That's
knows?
your dad. How many seasons did this
man.
go?
Probably 5, bro. Check it out. H-Town Creole with the last
5
question. We heard anything about the center from Cincinnati? Yes, he's committed to Wisconsin, so
I might fall down this rabbit hole.
that
Yeah,
hurts.
I might fall down into it again.
That'd be
If
fun.
we're wanting him on your squad. All right, let's wrap.
Hit me with them fixins. Quit looking at Friday Night Lights. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna go bar for bar. Episode 1, season 1 starts today.
Today.
A Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights.
I
Watch
thought
party.
you were getting into early edition.
I might do both. I'm just getting all my Coach Taylor job opening. in
Kyle
Perkins.
Chandler, master. All right, we'll see y'all next week.
Lance Bill, hit me.
Used to be, when you needed legal help for complicated issues, you could walk into your hometown lawyer's office and get assistance for a variety of legal needs. Nowadays, every time you have a different issue, it seems like you have to meet a new lawyer at a new law firm for every legal problem. Attorneys Lance Beal and Kenny Hebert at Beal & Hebert in Lafayette are here to offer you one law firm for all your legal needs. Beal & Hebert have several attorneys experienced in multiple areas of law, whether it's personal injury, family law, estate planning, business law, construction law, and more. Beal & Hebert can handle all of your legal needs. Beal & Hebert, Louisiana's hometown lawyers.